Welcome and thank you for tuning in. You're listening to the Beyond 50 radio program. I'm Daniel Davis. On the program today, we're going to be sharing a fascinating story that takes place in Egypt during the 1940s. For many of you, you might reflect back that this was the time of the Second World War. It's a fictional story that talks about a young girl named Lila who actually was a streetwise prostitute who eventually found herself elevated to the level of becoming the mistress of one King Farouk. On the program today, we're going to be talking about the book Cairo Unzipped, and our guest joining us here on the Beyond 50 radio program today, Miss Mona Flott. Mona, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you.
Now, go ahead.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, how did this book all come about? It's based on a true story, but we can't really, I guess, tell too much when it comes to the truth part of it. You know, we got to kind of make it sort of a fictional work. Why did you decide to do that?
Well, I was born and raised in Egypt and in Cairo, and it's fascinating, the story of Egypt itself. Beside that, there is a girl named Layla, and Layla was a kind woman. She was forced into prostitution at 12 years old. Her mother made her do that. And she did it because she had brothers to feed.
Right.
Siblings, you know. Her mother never cared for them, and she was afraid that without her, they would starve. So anyway, she's very, very nice. It's an incredible woman, and it also tells a personal account of the history of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And it, she became the mistress with the time. She became the mistress of King Farouk.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a big thing. For years she was with him. And we had a fantastic life in Egypt. In Egypt it was like Paris in its art, culture, and fashion. It was a fabulous place to live. Mm-hmm. We would sit out in cafes with friends speaking 5 languages, picking the best word to describe how we felt. And it was something that it can't be found in today's Egypt, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Now, tell us, if you can, the contrast between today's Egypt and Egypt back in the 1940s.
Well, like I said, this was a very good time. Mm-hmm. When you say my 1940 or 1955, that's where I finally left Egypt. But it was a fabulous time because everyone, King Farouk has invited everyone that wants to come to Cairo. He will have a job. He promised them a job and money and everything else. So the banks were full of foreigners with many languages. The cafes were full, and it was very, very nice. And when I told my producer, I was at that time I was an artist in the Arabic movies, and the movies in Egypt, it's fabulous because they're second to the American movies. Mm-hmm. Because they do so many movies, and you have many, many Arabic countries that use those movies. And so, like I said, it's second to American movies. They're very grandiose. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I worked on it about 10 years. Yeah, till I found my husband and left.
Mm-hmm. It's fascinating, too, to think, for our listeners out there, to understand that you were actually the first female in Egyptian films that actually did the first on-screen kiss.
Oh,
because
yes.
You guys had real tight rules around that. I mean, in America, for instance, up to about the 1940s or 50s, kissing on film happened, but you were only allowed to do it for about 3 seconds. There was actually a time limit. But here it was a lot different, I understand.
Well, the producer came to me. I was a big actress, let's say, in Egypt. And the producer came to me, and he said, I want a kiss in that movie. I said, what? Are you kidding? There'll be a riot outside. They're very religious and all that. So. So I said, he says, don't worry. And we'll put soldiers, 2-3 soldiers outside. When they come out, they won't be able to move, or do anything. And I was, oh God. when we stood up outside looking and seeing the people coming out of the movie. And I told him in a very low voice, I said, they don't look very happy. They don't look, they have a funny face. He says, my dear girl, he says, they are, that face are very happy. Very happy. And that was it. After that, they did it in every movie. It got so popular, there was lines and lines and lines to go in the movie to see that kiss.
That's amazing just to think something that simple really just kind of exploded your career, huh? Just a kiss on film.
Yeah. Then, with the time, when the king left, and they threw out the king and they put Nasser. And it was terrible because it changed completely, the thing of Egypt completely. And we had also an artist in the movies, that she looked like Marilyn Monroe, and she was very, very popular too, like me, in her own sexy way, like that. And I don't know what happened, but they transported her to the plane that she wanted to see Paris too, and she went. Thank God I didn't go in the same plane, and the plane fell in the desert, and they took back the artist. They took her back in a casket, and as the manner that they do, they go in the street and carry it, you see. And when they found out where they are going, they thought they were going to a Muslim cemetery, and it wasn't. So she was going to. They told them that she's going to a Jewish cemetery. When they heard that, I was on the terrace looking down the street of Suleiman Pasha, and then they broke the casket and threw out by pieces in the streets of the burned person that was in it. And when I saw that, I knew I had to leave. It was terrible.
Now, one notable film that I know a lot of Americans will know and remember that you were in was The Ten Commandments.
Yes. I was in The Ten Commandments as the wife of Moses. Played a part in it, and I played also a part in, I forgot what it was. But it was a mystery. But yeah. And then I left that and invented fingernails and got a fantastic thing to do. I opened 10 shops in Texas, and it went very well. It's a $39 billion business now in Texas, but anyway, in the whole USA. Everyone now wears fingernails.
Acrylic nails.
Yes, I was thinking if they can do teeth acrylic, why not fingernails? And I tried until I found a way, and do it. And I start giving lessons to the girls. That is a success without me. I didn't know it would be that big. But I knew it. The woman loves nails.
Mm-hmm. You know, Mona, I'm curious about something. You know, why Dallas, Texas? Did you decide to move there?
Oh, why I decided to move there? It isn't because I love Texas. Because they say that in Texas there is the most beautiful woman and very, very fashionable.
Uh-huh.
You know, and that will be, maybe you should start doing this there. They told me. So that's what I did. I started in Dallas. Yeah.
Fascinating. How have people received your book? I mean, I really enjoyed reading it. There seemed to be, at least in the first half of it, a lot of, you know, not that it was in detail, but a lot of sex. You know, but you can see this was somebody who was beginning to evolve and go from, you know, having an opportunity to feed her family by, of course, being a prostitute, but she also evolved from there her status and began to grow and actually get up there in status. That's some pretty intelligent thinking for that time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, certainly, she was a friend. She became a friend of mine, and certainly my mother didn't want me to go with her because she said if she's known for a prostitute, don't go near her. They think you are one too. So I had to see her in secret.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it was, and that's it.
So as you started the acrylic nail business, you know, that was actually a very pioneering effort on your part. How did you decide to move in that direction with your life away from film?
Well, I left I left Cairo.
Right.
And because of all that problem there was with what's his name now? You know, not the king. The king left, so the other one came and dictator. And, but I feel sorry for the people there because there is only a couple of universities which is not, you know, not enough for those people. And they wait for a place to go in. So they can wait a couple of years until they go into school, to university, let's say. Mm-hmm. It's a shame. And when you have nothing to do, they become mischievous, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it was. And the Europeans weren't welcome anymore with the next Nasser. Mm-hmm. They weren't, you know, though they had shops, they had this, that, they had everything. They were manager of banks, and, you know, they bring silk from Paris, and they bring, you know, I was telling my producer, you know, I would love to go and see Paris, you know, Harriet with Egypt. So he says, my dear, you are in Paris.
Yeah, at that time it was definitely the epicenter of the world.
Oh, it was fantastic. We had princesses from Russia. We had so many people that came, very famous people, from the States, and all this. And the princesses used to keep their horses in the desert behind the pyramids. They have a keeper that will keep them until they come back. And, you know, they always came back every winter because winter is really nice there, really nice. And going on horses in the desert is beautiful, near the pyramids, near the Sphinx. You know, it was a nice time.
Now, one of the fascinating things was the death of King Farouk. Tell us about that, because there seemed to be mystery around what happened there.
Right. It's a mystery that is not really that much of a mystery. He got poisoned. He went to Italy and Rome, and he was eating when that cook, I forgot the name of that cook, that brought him something, and he just dropped dead. Yeah. They want him dead. Mm-hmm. Because he was too modern, you see.
Because it was too modern, you said?
Yeah,
okay.
The king was too modern.
Mm-hmm.
He was too modern. He had too many mistresses and too many things that he did that wasn't allowed for a king, not in Egypt. Anyway, he brought a lot of Europeans there.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went and brought my daughter to see it, I wanted her to see where I was born and, beside Alexandria. But, there is nothing left of the beauty there was.
Mm-hmm.
They broke the statues, they broke the street, they broke the sidewalk, the shops are all in flame. It was burning. They burned about 37 hotels. Hilton is one of them. And the Shepherd, especially the Shepherd. It had so many antiquity inside. The real one they stole it from the pyramids. A lot of things. Gold that you couldn't even lift. In fact, in one of my movies, there was a chair all in gold. Nobody can lift it. Nobody. Mm-hmm. They had to bring a winch, and 2 winches, in fact, at the time. They had to just move it where they could film better the scene. And it was in the wrong place, so they said, how are we going to do with that chair? So they had to bring a couple of winches to put it up. The bathtub was all gold. Mm-hmm. Pure gold. We're talking 18-karat gold.
Wow.
Yeah. When they opened in fact, not too long ago, when they opened the place, a second sort of a row underneath the pyramids, everyone was surprised. There were so many things. Oh. And you know who bought all that? England. They sold it to England.
They sold it to England.
You want to see them, you go to England, not to Egypt. It was empty. I went to look at the museum last time I was there. There is nothing. A few little trinkets, nothing. Before there were even shoes. I don't know how they walked with shoes that are all gold. I don't know. I guess they didn't. They would just carry it in a carriage. That's it.
Must have been a fascinating time when you consider that a lot of Europeans were actually escaping, from the Nazi thing going on there, and that it seemed like Egypt was allowing this, sort of refuge to happen. Yeah.
It is really a shame. I hope it will come back one day. But as the treasure is there, it's not here anymore. Mm-hmm. It's somewhere in England, in their museum. There is 5-6 stories, I think, with things of pharaohs. Yeah. So all the buildings, the 5 stories are full of gold. And even the shoes, like I said, the shoes were with strings made out of gold to hold the foot, It's very fascinating how they did it and how come we don't have... I don't know where they got all that gold. You should see that chair, unbelievable. Oh, all full of rubies and diamonds on the hand of the chair, It's so gorgeous things. You go in and you wonder what the hell is that, And certainly there was a lot of stealing, and King Farouk took as much as he could on his yacht. He went with the yacht so he can take the bags and suitcase full of pharaonic things, all gold. I don't know how they didn't sink, but there was another boat following them with all the goods. He took everything he could, and the son lives in Paris, and he has a lot of pharaonic things in his apartment. I saw the pictures.
Mm-hmm. Do you still keep in touch with Layla this day and age?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. In fact, all the stories that we have of Layla and her mother, the pimp, and the pimp of the mother, and all this thing came from her. She was sitting and telling me and telling me and telling me every day some other stories, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a lot of fun to read, that's for sure. The book is Cairo Unzipped. Unzipped. Mona Flott, our guest, joining us here on the Beyond 50 radio program. You know, is there a website people can find out more about this?
If they want to hear more about this, you say?
Yes.
Or
find out about the book and the story and all that.
Chuck, can you tell him what is the website? The website?
Yeah, I believe the website that I have here is Cairo Unzipped. Is the website? It's CairoUnzipped.com. You can find out more.
Yeah, CairoUnzipped.com.
CairoUnzipped.com. Very good. Mona, thank you so much.
Them also at Barnes & Noble and Amazon and all that.
And everything like that. Very good. Well,
okay.
Mona, thank you so much.
That's all.
Mona, thank you so much for joining us here on the program today.
Thank you very much for having me.
You bet. We want to thank you, the listeners out there, for tuning in. Again, the book is Cairo Unzipped, Fascinating Story. You can find out more by visiting us at Beyond50Radio.com. That is the number 50. And you can also subscribe to our weekly e-news updates. I'm Daniel Davis. Thank you for joining us. This is the Beyond 50 radio program. And remember, live your day past halfway.